in his speech today before APEC, among other things, positively cited Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt, ambassador on anti-Semitism. She recently tweeted, I wholeheartedly concur with a European group condemnation of Roger Waters and his despicable Holocaust distortion. The European group had tweeted, Roger Waters' gig in Berlin, is there anything more anti-Semitic than using Anne Frank as a prop on a German stage while prancing around in a Nazi uniform attacking Jews? This is an incredible distortion of what happened. I don't know if you're familiar with The Wall, which is possibly the most classic rock opera in rock and roll history. It's an unrelenting denunciation of fascism and racism. One of the songs in it features him as mocking a demagogue, like Charlie Chaplin did, and talking to the crowd and saying, are there any queers, are there any Jews, are there any blacks in the audience tonight? Get them up against the wall. And then he gets a machine gun and mows them down. It's an obvious attack on fascism, and yet your ambassador is denouncing it and pretending that Roger Waters, presumably because he defends Palestinian rights as well as other people's rights, is an example of anti-Semitism. Are you going to distance yourself from this, or are you going to back?
I've not seen that tweet, nor am I familiar with this piece of expression, so I'm just going to refrain. I'm going to refrain from offering anything else.
You're not familiar with The Wall?
You're not
surprised, familiar with Pink Floyd?
No, I know who Pink Floyd is. Thank you. I know who Roger Waters is also. I'm just not familiar with this.
It caused a bit of a stir a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So it would be interesting to see, particularly since an administration official saw fit to comment on it. What you guys think from here?
I'm happy to check for you, Matt, but I've not seen the ambassador's tweet, so I will refrain from weighing in further.
It's not like one ambassador is talking about a subject that's not in their portfolio. She is beyond parody distorting anti-Semitism and criticism of Israel. He used Anne Frank's name as a list of people, of martyrs who he reveres. This is an incredible distortion. I think it's imperative, if the State Department isn't going to wholeheartedly dispense with any pretense about anti-Semitism being an actual problem and only use it as a way of denouncing people who stand up for Palestinian rights.
That is absolutely
well,
not.
Proof is in the pudding. I want a response to this, please.
That is absolutely not our approach to that.
Well, prove it.
I mean, look, it is a situation where we're talking about a British musician giving a concert in Germany. It doesn't really have anything to do with the U.S. But the fact of the matter is that she did weigh in on it. So.
Just Ladies and gentlemen, the show will start in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. On a matter of public interest, a court in Frankfurt has ruled that I am not an anti-Semite. Excellent. Just to be clear, I condemn anti-Semitism unreservedly. Also, I can't tell you how much we're looking forward to doing the gig in Frankfurt. Thank you.
My story is yet another story of cancel culture. Why are they trying to cancel Roger Waters? Why aren't there real journalists going, hang on a minute, this is bullshit. Maybe I'll call up and see what he has to say. Why aren't you? Ignore all the newspapers, because that's all fake news. They are not printing the story in any way that is even-handed. The narrative that I'm an anti-Semite and that I'm promoting fascism by wearing a leather coat and that I'm heavy symbols, which are crossed hammers, by the way, not swastikas or anything that is literally Nazi, Third Reich, German. 40 years I've been doing, 40 years. Every single year almost between 1980 and now, I've been doing bits of that show. Why now? Why suddenly now would people be picking up and going, he's wearing a replica of a Nazi uniform on stage. He's obviously glorifying the Third Reich and Nazism. He's doing that as part of his general attitude, which is that he hates Jewish people. All over, all the press in the Western world, everything. Roger Waters, anti-Semite, glorifying Nazism, wearing a thing. Okay, well, if we could deconstruct that little bit. In my piece, The Wall, at the end of the fascist bit, in the film it's Bob Geldof, when he's the fascist leader, he's singing all this stuff, which I wrote, about who they are, the forces of evil. And they're in the song Waiting for the Worms. They're waiting to take over the world, waiting to cut out the deadwood. Pink, Bob Geldof, internally realizes that he's made a terrible mistake by wanting to become a powerful demagogue and rule the world. That's why he tries himself in the trial. He tries himself for having become a Nazi. So how you can transmogrify this work of theatre into me glorifying the Third Reich and Nazism beggars belief. Clearly, I'm upset beyond all measure to be called these names. They're deeply, deeply, deeply insulting, not just to me, but to my family, and particularly to my mother and father. My father died at Anzio on the 18th of February, 1944, when I was 5 months old, fighting the Nazis. The fact that people are complaining about me mentioning Anne Frank and Shireen Abu Akleh in the same show, actually in the same song. It's a song called Powers That Be. And I put up the names of victims of violence from all over the world, like George Floyd, right, Blair Peach in England. Everywhere I went in North America, I put up one name from that town. Every town you go to in America, there's somebody who's been murdered by the state or the local police. So when I get to Germany, it's not hard for me to pick some German names. She's there because I'm in Germany. But your government is standing by, silent and indifferent, while there's a slow, creeping genocide being perpetrated upon the people of Palestine. This is why I'm being vilified in Germany, is because I'm suggesting that you, the German people, have to persuade your government to change all of that. And I know why it is. You are blinded by the fact that you are German and your guilt about the Holocaust is so great that you've accepted the mantra that Israel can do no wrong, and anybody that says anything against Israeli policy has to be silenced, and will be, by the German government and the German people, because we support the Israeli government, whatever they do. They've been trying to get me cancelled there for months and months and months, and I fought back through the German courts. And I'm happy to say that the local court in Frankfurt, that the judge said, on the basis of the evidence before me, what this man wants to do in this concert hall is clearly not against any law. He should be allowed artistic freedom to express his thoughts and feelings in this piece, which is clearly an adaptation of a longer theatrical piece, which is called The Wall, which he has been performing one way or another and made films of for 40 fucking years. And suddenly now, you're all going, oh, it's anti-Semitic, it's this, it's that, the other. Why now? Well, I know the answer. And if anybody would listen to me, and you are listening to me, I can tell you the answer. The Israeli government sees me as an existential threat to their settler, colonialist, racist apartheid regime. That is why now. And they've done everything that they can think of to discredit me and try and destroy my career, and if possible, destroy me and my family. This whole story for me didn't start till 2006 when I went to Palestine. I saw apartheid in action.
It's actually quite depressing to witness. You know, when you stand in front of an edifice like this, whether it's here or you know, outside a township in South Africa or in the Warsaw Ghetto during the Second World War or in Berlin in the 60s and 70s, there's something you know instinctively that this is wrong.
A lot of my political ideals are fostered through this, mainly following my mother. She once said to me when I was struggling with something or other, she said, Roger, throughout your life, you're going to come up with all kinds of knotty problems, things that you have to wrestle with. This is my advice to you. Read, 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 and then read some more. Find out everything there is to know about whatever the question might be, however long it takes. When you've done that, you've done all the heavy lifting. The hard work is over. What do I do then, Mum? She said, next bit's easy. You just do the right thing. You know, it's not hard. When you've done the reading, chaps, you've done all the heavy lifting. Just do the right thing. And if you do, their world will crumble and we will have taken a step towards peace on earth.